Greetings and welcome to a Monday edition of the Shotgun Start. It is May 12th. Andy, how we doing?
Brendan, I'm doing great. It's a victory Monday here at the Shotgun Start with the Sepptic Tank rolling into Philadelphia.
Rumbling.
It's a town known for its how it dominates the trenches on the football field. No surprise, two big boys go into the ring and duke it out on Sunday.
They draft up front. They put an emphasis up front on both sides of the ball. And that was proven to be a big advantage at the Wissahickon course. Wissahickon course on the weekend. Shane Lowry, Sepp Straka. We love the Tank. He's a favorite here, as you've said. Victory Monday. He could have used one. Guy just wins. Guy wins. He's incredible. There's guys who like make birdies and just kind of, I don't know, acquire FedEx Cup points. I want to be like, he's on a normal career trajectory. He's not 24. He's 32. He had to do some KFT work, but basically post COVID, the last 3 years, when he gets in the hunt, the guy wins. But I'll tell you what, he needed one. He needed an elevated signature event because the record was Honda, Deere, and Amex.
Big time events.
Where, they don't fully fill up the tank. Let's just put it that way.
He almost won that playoff event, when Zalatoris won.
That's right.
What did Zalatoris say when he won that? Something about the haters?
Oh, Steph Curry, some sort of Steph Curry quote. Didn't he say it was some? Yeah, I never left, or where are my haters now? I don't know what it was. It was some Curry homage. But the Tank Slam, we were worried. Like, remember we were talking about what would be the fourth one to complete the Tank Slam, like a 3M Open when you got a Deere and Amex. Well, he's got a Philly Cricket signature event, Truist Championship, to his name. Guy's been awesome. He joins Rory McIlroy as the only multiple-time winners this year. Slightly different resumes, but with Pebble and Players. I thought it was interesting.
Amex Truist is right there with it. Rory's got Pebble, Players, and Masters.
I was reading some transcript from Saturday, and Rory's like, "What's like one thing?" Is like, people like about being out here that you forget about, or it's good to be out here. People forget I won the Players. It's kind of like whatever happened pre-Masters. It's like I kind of almost forget. Like, it's a big hard ass event. It's been totally sort of washed over for like a good reason. But it was I did too. It's like it's just kind of gone.
Are you worried this win for the Tank is going to wash over this Amex triumph earlier this year?
Amex work where he beat JT by 2 out at the Palm PGA West, I should say.
Maybe he's the JT stopper. I mean, if I'm Justin Thomas, there's one player I don't want to see at Bethpage, and that's the Tank.
He's a lock. I think he was a lock probably before this. He's an unequivocal lock. He probably will make it on points. Can't imagine he won't make it on points.
He's a 5-session player. He's number 2 in the world.
Number 2 in the world in some metrics. This is from Nosferatu, the latest. Both Tank and Shane Lowry will move inside the top 10 for the first time in their careers. Lowry playing some very good golf. Hasn't been able to get it done and get across the line necessarily, but playing great golf. He's finally like, Roy spoke to that too. Like, maybe just not being in Ireland where you're not playing really golf in January, February, March, and maybe even April, and just getting into Florida, like he's just so much more consistent, being able to practice and play with some regularity. Not that he was, neglecting his work. It was just harder traveling and maybe being there he can't play. So he's a top 10. He's so consistent. He's moved inside the top 10 in the world. I can't even remember. What's the last time he won? Lowry. Was it Portrush?
He won Zurich.
Oh.
That wasn't an official world golf win.
That's true.
I think it was Portrush before Zurich, though.
Yep. It was Portrush, and then that Firestone one.
Yeah. How about Cantlay hasn't won since 2022?
What was that? The FedEx Cup? Atlanta?
Maybe the Caves Valley.
Well, he won the FedEx Cup. Or was that not?
Was that gross or not?
I don't know. That's at long last gone. An impressive run. I had the Tank in a one and done league. That I don't know that I did it for this pod, but in an actual one and done league. So I wouldn't say I was rooting against Shane, but I was happy. Holding back
your big picks.
Well, I mean, this is my gambling thing. Anybody who's making money is not. They're not publicizing it. If you're like a real sharp, and why would you write about it or talk about it or tweet about it? That I have the model, I have the data. Now there's smart people out there doing it, but yeah, trust me, I'm not holding back anything though.
Last OWGR win for Cantlay was the BMW Caves.
Wilmington or Caves?
It was the podcast where you were driving back through the caves and the valleys. That's and KVV was on also.
That's true.
And I gave up. I just turned off.
They're back there this year. People are requesting that I maybe just call as per tradition.
I'll never forget where I was.
Podcast.
I think I just finished a vacation. It was I was back from a vacation. I was in Traverse City, and I remember my wife was like, "What just happened?" I said, "I just gave up on a podcast."
Tank goes 63. He was one of the 10 people who broke the course record, prior course record of 65 on Thursday.
How about that?
10. Who held the previously?
ZB.
I think a guy from around here, Colin St. Maxon, a good amateur player around here. I saw him listed. But yeah, 10 guys beat the 65. Just light work on Thursday. Tank, one of them. He goes 63, 67, 66, and 68. He's when scores have got to go low, as you've seen at an Amex. He's their guy. The Tank is a birdie machine, and he cleaned up.
What a day! Foxy just gets it done.
Did he get it done? Wow.
Gets it done in Myrtle Beach.
Another burly boy. Foxy's not one you want to meet in an alley. You don't want to meet Foxy in an alleyway. That's good.
It's so funny. I got to know Foxy a couple years ago, and I was talking to someone, and I was like, yeah, I mean, his dad's like a famous rugby player,
right?
Or he's like a well-known. I think I said well-known, and the person was like, he always buries this, but his dad's like a god.
Yeah.
Like an all-time great rugby player.
Which doesn't resonate probably for most American PGA Tour fans in a way. Like, your dad is John Elway or something like that, or whoever.
So. Foxy's incredible. He didn't start playing golf seriously until he was 18.
Teenager, right? Yeah. Good athlete. I think Mackenzie Hughes kind of booted that one down the end. I was looking to talk about the Tank Slam. I was ready to talk about the Mac Slam. He would have added
because he had Cognizant, right?
A Sanderson, no, an RSM. He's done RSM, Sanderson, and Myrtle. But we'll give it to Ryan Fox, a guy who kind of one of the last real international players. You have anything more on the Tank?
I mean,
I have a lot on the Truist.
I have a lot on the Tank. I think he's become like a just bona fide European Ryder Cup player. He is he's up to 4 wins, so he's close to joining the pancake zone. It's only a matter of time before he picks off another one. I think like he's a great Ryder Cup player because he's interchangeable. He hits the ball well, he putts well. He doesn't do anything poorly, No. He also, I will say this, he doesn't have a ton of pop for being such a big boy.
Yeah.
It's kind of in the vein of Mark Leishman. He might be another defensive 12 homer first baseman.
Watch your mouth there.
I love the Tank.
I know, but that just shatters sort of the image we're trying to create. We can't be having him like we're not trying to do that. We need to uphold the image that we've created here. Big boy, big hitter, off the bus intimidation. We're not having this be Nick Faldo.
Off the bus, he's intimidating, and then you see him hit the speed off the face, and you're like, oh, nice.
Guy's an incredible athlete. He's incredible. So yes,
lots of people are asking if he could switch nationalities to the U.S. team.
They need it. Another one today, it was, Fleetwood and Straka and Lowry. I know we had JT was sort of in the mix there, the bridge man, who I want to talk about. I don't think he'll be a Bethpage, the bridge man.
He might be, though. Who's playing better, bridge man or Spieth? Who's had more chances to win tournaments this year?
Another kind of middling week for Spieth as a sponsor's exemption. T34, exactly middling. 72-man field, T34. My cough is fully back.
Yeah,
what allergies? It's been 2 weeks I've been coughing. My voice has been raspy. It's the allergies, I think. I don't know. Getting crushed. Let's get into it. Lowry ties with JT for second. Let's do quick things. I think a bit we need Josh Elliott doing the Mother's Day intro, no matter what tournament. Just sort of lead us in. A Mother's Day gift to you all, this Truist Championship. We have the Tank and Sugar Shane, as the coach calls them. But were you thinking about, I wish they were playing the Players this Sunday. That's when it used to be. They would have the Players Championship.
Oh, you want to talk schedule? You want to talk about this disaster that we have?
I was just thinking everybody would wear. You remember, I was thinking the old days, not old, but 5 years ago, everybody wears pink. They had the pink tracer today and all that. And it's like, this used to be Players Championship Sunday. Feels like it might have been, I don't know.
The schedule sucks. All right. I'm going to cover the PGA next week, but am I happy about it? No. It's like I'm still getting over the Masters. Feels like the Masters was yesterday. And guess what's going to happen after the PGA? You're going to be like, wait a second. Open. The U.S. Open's like 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Players would have been nice. Would have been a nice weekend for the Players as we wait for the U.S. Open. But that's not the way it works anymore. We're going to Quail Hollow.
Here's the thing: is Quail Hollow had no chance to stand out, and it like the best way the only way it can stand out at this point is a sensational tournament, and I hope we get a sensational tournament. The play in from the superstars of the sport, including Sepp Straka, has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
But like Quail Hollow, PGA at Quail Hollow, PGA at Aronimink, PGA at PGA Frisco. None of those have a chance, even a small chance, to stand out 3 weeks apart from the Masters and the U.S. Open. It's just put itself in an unwinnable position.
Do you think it did in August?
In August, at least it had the chance of like, you know what? This is the last major of the year. This is the last chance for guys to get a major.
Tiger wins. That would be a big deal in August.
Yeah,
you don't really have anything. You got training camp. Is about it. So
yeah, I love how people are like the football gobbled it up in August. What, training camp? Fantasy. You're worried about going up against fantasy football content? People being like, that backup running back at Dallas he's getting a lot of first team reps. You gotta watch out for him.
Well, our coach is already annoyed at the amount of Shador questions he's getting on May 9th.
Well, this was I was listening to some draft pundits that said that's why you can't draft him because it's gonna be a circus.
He's like, I don't know, guys. This one took these snaps and the other one took the other snaps, and it's May 9th. One was drafted in the third. One was like, it's just that's just.
We never talked about Shador. You excited about that?
Sure, it'll be fine. I don't. Yeah, it's a 6th-round pick. I don't care. The problem is we took a little runt guy can't see over the line in the 3rd round. Like, so either do it or don't. That's the problem. But yeah, taking Shador Sanders in the 6th round, I have no problem with that as value. But we already took a quarterback, so now we've got this it was like a Zach Johnson strategy of like just on the fly. Mishmash, and they were like, no, hit a 4-iron. Never mind. We're all over the place.
I love your QB room. I hope Deshaun's in there giving him
Kenny Pickett's going to start. We're going to end up with Kenny Pickett starting.
Kenny Pickett,
Joe Flacco by like week 6. Shador not dressing and people asking about him no matter what till like December. It's just the.
Are you just going to cut Gabriel?
I don't know. I mean, it's like a water boy. He's so little. I don't know. I thought there's been short quarterbacks who've done it, but people are just like, whoa, took him in the 3rd round. What are we doing? All right.
Back to the PG. This date's just terrible.
I think sucks is too strong a word, but
why can't we keep the players in March and just have May be open? May's not a good time for golf courses anywhere.
You would be moaning about, we got another garbage Craig Nelson ranch.
That's fine.
We got another
bad
Zurich. We got another bad 3M. Like these are the events you would get. That bridge.
What if you put a couple? Would be long. What if you put a couple SIG events in there? Now the problem is the SIG events don't have any space.
Yeah,
I think this would solve everything. And you just get rid of the playoffs.
Well, there's only 2
together.
I don't think that's going to happen. There's only 2 SIG events left. It's May 11th. We have Travelers and Memorial. That's it. Too many steps.
Lace up your Joey Crawfords and go to Travelers.
The last SIG event is the week after the U.S. Open. That's it. I mean, it's June before July. Then we're done. That was another one. Like somebody asked, I think it was Rory, another Rory quote. 3rd time we've tried. Like you like these signature events, jamming them right before a major. He goes, well, I like them much better before than after. You know, I don't mind doing championship into a championship. But, we got Heritage, which he just said, nope. Bye. I'm not doing that one.
Didn't even sign up for it before the Masters.
No, it had nothing to do with what happened Sunday at the Masters, whether he won or lost. He was out. But I think, he is doing the Travelers, I believe. So, yeah, there's only 2 SIGs left. Maybe you make this signature season. April 10th to, June 15th would be signature. Or run us like 3 signature events. Is that what you're suggesting?
Or put the playoffs in there.
Okay. And then what?
Then you start the season in June.
Yeah.
Then have the reach around season be the middle of the season.
Maybe they go to Singapore and Korea, like live. They could just start going all over the place. Hong Kong. They could just do an international swing in May.
I'm bummed PJ's not here because I had a fun quip about the telecast.
What was wrong with it, or what was the quip?
Well, they put up on the screen some Puerto Rico Myrtle Beach scores.
Yeah.
And I saw C. Young at the top of the board, and I was like, oh, Cameron Young was in there. Carson. I went onto my app, I opened it up, and I said Carson Young.
Yeah. Cam Young was top 10.
Cam Young was top 10. Then Cam Young it gets shown immediately after. He hits a wedge to like 6 feet and misses the putt.
This is a great spot for Cam Young. Just, hit it 300 yards and wedge it on. Soft. Stakes, but not really.
You're being so disrespectful.
To what?
I think everybody's got to get off Cam Young. He's like, he contends in majors.
Okay.
It's complete opposite of a ball speed imposter.
You know who doesn't contend in majors? And this is where I want to get a real question back to you. The Tank hasn't really contended in a major. He had that runner-up.
What about the Open?
He had a runner-up.
Just raining birdies. The only guy that even put a threat to Harmon, the Tank.
I mean, threat's a strong word for it, but
it's disrespectful.
He's not really done anything at a major. Not had a ton of opportunity. Not had a ton of starts. How about him for Quail Hollow? Has to be an option next week, right? I know it'll be harder next week. It won't be a total birdie fest.
All right, let's just run down names until we get to where you might think about Tank. on your betting sheet. Okay.
Over the name you're going to suggest to me?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Ready? Scotty Scheffler.
No.
Rory McIlroy. Xander Schauffele. Bryson DeChambeau. Colin Morikawa. John Rahm. Justin Thomas. Oh, John Rahm.
Well, we know Rahm will top 10.
He never finishes outside the top 10. Whether it feels 54 or 144.
JT's an interesting one. We've seen him beat him the last 2 times at Amex and now Truist.
Come on, get out of here. Ludwig.
Ludwig's not been great. He's great at the Masters. And then, I don't know. Maybe he's taking the Brooks approach. None of this shit matters except for the majors.
Would you take Sepp or Brooks?
Brooks.
So you taking Sepp over Ludwig?
Yeah, I think Sepp will finish lower than Ludwig.
Okay. All right. But I think that's crazy talk right there.
I think Ludwig has a better chance to win. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Feast or famine. All right. But
Hideki? Or Sepp?
Hideki played well there, 17.
He did.
I don't know. They're all even. All these guys are even.
Okay, so we got into the range. So he's in like the 10 range. 10 to 15. 10 to 20.
Got the skill set. He's a big hitter. He's a big boy who smashes the ball. Despite whatever you say, he crushes the ball. Green mile. He reduces the mile to a foot. The big boy.
He's a sub 20 homer first baseman. He's Matt Stairs.
Get out of here with that. I think Matt Stairs hit for pop. He was either a K or he was either a strikeout or a homer. We're all over the place here. What did you like about the Truist?
He had 265 homers in 20 seasons.
How many at bats? Come on. He wasn't like an everyday player. That's not fair. 265 is not a small amount of homers. All right.
He was third most by a Canadian. Matt Stairs is Canadian.
All right.
You know that's the most homers by a Canadian.
Larry Walker.
Boom.
Got him.
God, can't get anything by you. I would never have gotten that right. Matt Stairs minute.
How was the Truist for you? Let's do a little game. What did we like? What didn't we like? I'll throw a couple things out that I liked.
All right.
The Bridge Man. You probably didn't expect me to go to the Bridge Man.
I did not.
Did not expect me to take this bridge.
Bridge over troubled water.
I'm going with the Bridge Man because this is another totem I want to hold up for all these malcontents, Eric Van Rooyen, Lucas Glover. You've made it this closed door club. Nobody could pick Jacob Bridgman out of a lineup to start this year, but he's played his way in. Now he's played, I don't know that he's been exceptional. He's been steady. He had a T2 at the Cognizant and a 3 at the Valspar. Made more cuts than he's missed, but hasn't just been on a total tear. Flashed and he worked his way. He was one of the last 3 guys in via the Aon 10. He's 33rd in the FedEx Cup. Needed some stuff to break his way. Got one of the last spots in the field. Now here he is with I think it was T4 was how it ended up shaking out. Boatload of points. I don't know. I think these are great. The signature events are great. Is it hard to fall out? Maybe, but it's not. The door is not closed. We saw this with Eric Cole last year. Got played well and suddenly became a top 50 Siggy player. We're seeing it with the Bridge Man, who gets in the field. He's probably now steadily he's on an inside track to Atlanta.
21 on FedEx Cup points.
So he's still got to play, but I mean, it's not a closed door shop. We saw the pace of play was delightful. Could we go from 72 to whatever you want to do? 85? That's what I'm using. I'm using the Bridge Man. Next time I have to hear a mule talk about how, they closed the gate on the mules. The mules can't get in. We just get this pretty consistently. So that's my one thing I liked. As evidence that the signature makeup isn't totally off. kilter. What's one thing you like?
How about Philly Cricket Club?
How about it?
It was enjoyable. The first round was it caused everybody to overreact, including probably two hosts of this podcast. The only one that didn't overreact was PJ.
Winning score was 16 under.
I think just in general, like what I like about a place like Philly Cricket Club is the greens being severe. What you saw, you know what I noticed a lot of down the stretch on Sunday? People missing putts from inside 4 feet because they were ripping across holes. You know why? Because there's actually slope in the greens.
Good bit of that. Yep.
Don't go to most of these tour events and it's just flat around the greens. And it's like, you rarely see a 4-footer outside the hole. And you saw when you have to play putts outside the hole, guys miss short putts. And I thought it was great. It got a little weather. It held up really well once it had the weather. As Rory said in his post round, there's another clip. Like, yeah, the course would be really beautiful if it was if the ball went 500 or 600 yards shorter.
Yeah.
In terms of aggregate distance.
Yeah.
I think that's the reality is like there aren't a lot of places that could host PGA Tour golf. Like we have a major going to Philly next year at Aronimink, and it's going to play really similar to Philly Cricket this week in terms of like bunkers being completely in the wrong places because it was restored for members.
And when was that?
When was the restoration? Yeah.
Within the last 5 years.
Yeah, right? But they knew that going in. They restored it for the members. But the reality is like if you gain a yard every single year, if you go back to a venue 10 years later, they hit it 10 yards further. And bunkers that are perfect then can be flown. That's just the pace we're on. But that being said, topography
cool.
And like a lot of downslope lies. Like you saw Sepp get slipped up on 11, which is the normal 18th hole with a downslope. He scored it right, which is like a common thing. I got a great tip a couple of weeks ago about downhill lies. Everybody thinks you usually play it back. You think, oh, I got to play this back in my stance. Play those up. You won't squirt right. Maybe that's what Sepp did wrong there. Should have played it more up in his stance. Okay. But anyways, I was thinking about that hole in particular. These guys have lob. It's a 490-yard par 4. And what happens is they hit the downslope and it goes down the hill. And then they have like little wedges in the 490-yard hole. You know what would be cool? Is if they played the golf course somewhat the way it was designed because equipment can't overwhelm it. And they hit approach shots from the top of the hill to a tiny little green from like 180 yards. That's how the hole was supposed to be played. But all these guys hit it down the hill now, and they have like little wedges in. And if you're hitting that, that's a really great golf shot. But everybody's down the hill.
Yeah. So they came on today, and number one's a short hole, and whatever. It's already a one for the pros. And I think whoever was on the call, was like, this is the longest approach shot I've seen here today. It was Lowry. It's 117 yards. No, that's a short hole. I get it. That's the point. And he deliberately like held back, and it paid off. And he spun a wedge and made his birdie, and to immediately get out and run it. Just a lot of that kind of shot for anyone, whether you're a bopper or not, as they say.
Everybody's bopping stuff.
One thing I didn't like, the great hazard, not because it wasn't, it's not a great idea. It was the meh hazard for these guys.
Well, it's not. The point of the great hazard
is to make you think, not to go in it. I understand.
No, it demands if you hit in the fairway, then it's no problem hitting over the great hazard.
Yes.
It's if you hit a wayward drive, then it becomes a bit of an issue.
6 people went in it this week.
Huh? It's not very great.
I mean,
that was hole 15.
15.
For those. Some
of them drove it into it or to the edge. There was that happened on occasion. The 345, 350 drives running up to the edge. It's just, I a few like Sahith, who I want to get to in a minute. He missed the fairway and just kind of flubbed one into it and then made an 8. But other than that, it wasn't really, and that's not. It's again sort of the issue with the distance. So. Lowry nearly chipped in. That was kind of the end of his run. But what's another thing you liked this week? JT?
Yeah. I had a question. Is he fully back? Is he all the way back? Is JT all the way back?
To whatever his peak powers were? Like 5-win season JT or whatever it was? Close. Sure. Seems like he's very, very consistently in contention. Those 2 pulls with the putter at the end, sort of the death of him.
Feels like he should have won. Yeah.
Felt like he should have won. The tank kind of just seas parted for the tank in the last like 45 minutes.
Well, this is what tanks do. They wear you down.
Yeah, it feels like JT should have won. He's close to back for sure.
It's been awesome. I feel like going into this year, one of the big questions was like, what's going on with JT? Because we'd seen really like 3 years of kind of up and down play, inconsistency, even dating back to the year he won at Southern Hills. Like that win was kind of almost a abnormality in his run of success, in his run of finishes. Yeah. It's been great to see him back. I think the swings in as good of a place as it's been in a long time. I still think that driver that he just gets a little wild. I love if he just hit a few more fairways, but I think everybody would love if they were 6 inches taller. They might be playing in the NBA.
Yeah, good week. Guys are peaking. All the guys are peaking. I think for next week. What about Rory? Temperature check. Peaking. He missed a crap ton of fairways. Didn't totally matter. Still, gained strokes off the tee. Did you see his quote about the trees and the fairways?
Yeah, he struggles to hit fairways when there's no trees.
Too open.
That's the thing people don't think about is it's harder to pick targets when there's no trees around.
Well, the PGA Tour event, they still find them. You see the blind shot on their 5, the uphill blind tee shot. And they put two giant antenna up there that the guys were just like, that's your ideal lining for the one of the rare like blind tee shots. It's like, there's your antenna, go right at it. So 2 TV antenna or whatever, some infrastructure antenna. Where are you at with Rory? What's the temperature check?
I think this was an ideal week. You almost don't want to win the week before a major. I think like a lot of things tend to go right when you win. I think if you look at he gets off to a hot start on Saturday, makes a couple birdies, and then he has a pretty bad double, and then follows it with another bogey. And it's like if he just goes maybe bogey par in that sequence, he's right in the mix on Sunday to win. But from where he was, very little stress. He's probably feeling very full of energy. You talk about Scotty last year when he won Memorial before the U.S. Open, being kind of worn out. Rory's going to be fresh. He's going to feel good about his game. He was, a couple things go different ways, and he's right there on Sunday. So you got to feel great about it. What do you think?
Just the official quote, so it's for the record. I sort of struggled with this in Houston as well. Whenever we get these big, wide open golf courses where there's not a ton of definition, and he was asked about missing fairways. I think it would have hit a lot more fairways if it had been tree lined.
Well, that's the thing. It narrows your focus. It almost makes it easier when there's trees. I always like when there's a lot of trees. I feel like I drive it better.
If you're a very good golfer, that would seem to not be a totally crazy theory.
One thing I heard, a little scuttlebutt.
I
heard there was a lot of murmurs, under their breath complaints from caddies and players alike saying the golf course was tricked up.
This week.
Why?
How?
They're getting a little pissy.
With greens or what was tricked up?
Yeah. Well, one of the things is, these players have gotten so accustomed to going places with shot link data that I think they've become a bit used to open book tests.
Put the program in, input it, and and tell me where and how.
Exactly. This is how
prior data. Yeah.
I don't think the caddies, the players, like the idea of actually having to do homework, learn a golf course without being told like this is how to play it based off of shot link data. Just refreshing to go to a new golf course because I think like to a certain extent, and this you could some guys just played bad, but you could also see where some guys just didn't take the time or care enough to learn how to play the golf course, where to miss it, where to and I think that's like a real thing on the PGA Tour where everything's effectively handed to you at this point.
It's an interesting point. I saw someone suggest course must be good if it can keep Rory engaged, and it's a driver wedge fest. Because a lot of these driver wedge fests, he's like, get me out of town. On a lot of them. Memphis, Travelers, places like that. Well, I know he's been okay at some of those. That's
I think a game within the game is
top 7.
Is who's going to show up to Memphis? How many people skip Memphis this year? It's going to be the game within the game.
Just not go. The Courier.
I think that's a real storyline to watch as we head into the playoffs. Who's going to say, you know what? I don't need a week in August in Memphis in my life right now.
Rory goes driver wedge for the week. 4 rounds in the 60s, T7. So it seems like a good place to be going into a place we know he's done well at. Did you like his quote about how? I mean, we aggregated it immediately.
We nucleared it.
It was, I mean, that was just straight up egg nip, catnip. That was just throw it out there all over it.
I mean, yeah, it's just, it's spot on.
Uh-huh.
I don't understand how there's like an argument when you watch these guys play this golf course. And then especially when you compare it to when the seniors played like 7 years ago, and the course just kicked the seniors' asses. Completely kicked their ass.
1 over won it, right?
1 over won it. It's like, when guys hit it 290 yards, this golf course would take you to the woodshed. But, when they hit it 330 yards, all of a sudden it becomes all wedges. I mean, look at even like 18 and 17, what they're doing to it. It's like, if I hit the fairway, it's like a short iron in. These are brutally long holes.
Yeah, that last hole is what, 5? What
535.
5. Okay. Sepp, one of the harder ones.
Had like a 4 iron in. That was an amazing shot he hit from that bunker.
Yeah. Rory's quote was, this was before we recorded on Thursday. The golf ball just went a little short of this course would be awesome. Not that it isn't awesome anyway, but just right now with the distances we hit it's probably 500, 600 yards too short. Be amazing to play courses like this the way the architect wanted you to play them. Lot of theories on that. You suggested a rollback ball or a tournament ball for short courses. People say don't let pros hit woods, any lumber for a week like this. Seems pretty dramatic. I don't think they would go for it. I got to read to you on the subject of yardage from Lucas Glover. I believe Bambi or Bamberger asked him something about this. Golf.com has the quote. He was asked, is men's elite professional golf better on courses that measure 71 or 7,600 yards? 7,100, Glover said. No question about it. Look at this cricket club course. You have a pitch shot par 3 where the cover is 100 yards. You have a 250-yard uphill par 3 where one side is death. And you have 2 par 3s that are in between. 4 different clubs. He's just talking about par 3s right now. That's kind of... Okay. Look at the second hole, the 9th for member play. Short right curving par 4. I played it was a 5-wood and a sand wedge. Wyndham Clark, longer than I am, hit driver right up to the green. We both made 3s. The architect gives you so many choices. At Quail Hollow, we'll all be hitting it to pretty much the same place. So he played with Wyndham Clark in under 3 hours, or about 3 hours as a twosome.
First off,
Saturday, first off, and then they did it again on Sunday. So first off,
that's
played
tough.
in 3 hours.
That's tough when you don't play yourself out of the first off group on Saturday.
Well, I don't know if it was first off again on Sunday, but yeah, well, they were together. Presumably, yes, they did. Quote, Glover said, golf's a walking sport. When Tillinghast, so look at this. He's name dropping the architect. When Tillinghast designed this course, the greens and the tees were close together. Land was not an issue back then in the 1920s, but golf was meant for walking. So, of course, you had the greens and tees close together. Quite a take from Mr. Glover. Now, he only cites the par threes for variety, where the par fours were lacking that because of the way the ball goes. I will say, tees and greens are no longer together, Lucas, because the ball goes very far, and we've had to push the tees way back. And this is the same Lucas Glover said maybe they'll stick up for us once every now and then with this rollback. So I don't he's kind of trying to have everything here.
Well, you can tell what message was brought to you by his sponsor.
Maybe that's is he one of those guys?
I think he's Titleist, right?
He's a Srixon guy, I think.
Is he a Srixon?
I think so. They're kind of all there's very few that speak out about it.
Let's see. He's got the Srixon irons.
Yeah.
2024.
I don't know about what ball.
Srixon. So I put my hand up. That was a false accusation. Who's getting his talking points from?
So he called the golf ball rollback plan stupid and reactive. This was like a month ago, not 3 years ago.
But he likes the classic courses.
Tees and greens close to each other.
Well,
I'm trying to make.
We could just build a bunch of new golf courses for them. And then every 10 years, we got to move the bunkers 10 yards. So that's every 10 years, we're going to spend $20 million to do a full renovation. And they can keep having their golf the way they like it. So we'll outlay, with land, everything. We'll outlay, how many tournaments are there? 45?
Well, around there, 46 maybe.
We'll just call it roughly, we'll tell SSG this, roughly, we need 100 million for 45 facilities across the world.
Yep.
So 450 million. And then every 10 years, we're going to have to dump another 20 million into them. And then these guys won't have to change equipment. They won't have to deal with a simple little ball change, maybe a club head change.
So I appreciate Glover's comments. It's interesting. It's great. I like the 71. It's a great walk. It's variety with this, that, the Tillinghast. It needs to play the way it was intended. But you can't have that. You can't hold both sort of positions in the same hand. All right. And they kind of negate each other. So, but I hope he never stops talking. We need Lucas Glover to keep letting it rip. So.
You want what I didn't like?
Yes,
I didn't like Keith Mitchell's putter.
Yeah.
He had 3 3-putts on the front 9 on Saturday. And then they were talking about how it's a cool story. He bought the putter off his dad when he was in 3rd grade or something.
Kid, yes.
But why is he using a putter that's that old? Modern technology's made putters way better.
He went back to it, and there was some magic with
disadvantage.
It. Yeah. He found some magic with it recently.
If anybody's doubting me, go get a putter from 2000. Go buy a putter from the early 2000s and hit it off center and see how short it goes. That's one of the under talked about advances in technology is putters. You have to be so much less great of a putter, particularly on lag putting. But I think Mitchell, he needs all the help he could get on the greens. And he can't be using a 20-year-old putter. That's just
71 on the weekend. Tumbled down.
I enjoy him being around.
I do too. I don't want to be negative, but I'd like to see Shane get across the line a little bit more. I'd like to see Keith get across the line a little bit more. Great player, super consistent. The fact that Lowry's top 10 in the world without having real win, in a long time is incredible. Testament to his play.
He won the Zurich.
Those two putts that were,
bad putt,
a foot outside too much, never came down. I was hoping he would make it a little closer. Anything else you didn't like, or people, things, shots? Can I put Sahith Theegala on the witness stand? He did end up WDing, so having a neck issue. Shot 78 on Saturday. He's made 12 of 13 cuts. Of course, most of those are
signature.
Not. Yeah, he missed a cut at a signature event, which is hard to do. A Bay Hill signature cut. He's got 2 top 25s in 13 starts, and kind of just is middling about there with the 40 or 37 or whatever it is. Just kind of hasn't. Now, maybe he's hurt. Maybe he's, this neck has been bothering him for longer. I don't know. We thought he would have a chance to be a Ryder Cup player, and he's not close. He's not close. He's not even getting, like, the top 25 bar is pretty low for someone if you have pretty high expectations, and to not get there really and sniff it other than twice all season is pretty disappointing. Either way, I hope his health is good, especially for the PGA coming up. What else? Anything else you didn't like or liked from Philly? Pretty good championship.
A small little note. I love the pin, the hole location. I wonder if the AI course setup tool, Morgan Stanley's, set this up.
Okay.
But I love the front hole location on 14 today. It was like humming downwind. And you saw it. Yeah, you saw it with the leaders. Like, if you did not say I am hitting it at this pin, which required you to land it within like 3 yards of the bunker with a 95-yard wedge, totally acceptable type of a shot to hit that type of precision on for the best players in the world coming down Sunday. If you did not do that, you skipped to the middle of the green and you had a long putt in. I mean, that's the type of stuff that you see at this golf course that you just aren't going to see at Quail Hollow next week. It's like it makes you wish that you could get a course like this to the acceptable distance needed for big time championship golf. So
yeah, it didn't play particularly hard by average, but it was a cool hole. So 95 yards, the shortest hole on the year, I believe.
It was a very hard hole. Like, in order to make a birdie, outside of running a putt in, you had to hit a very, very, very good shot. And let's see. Today there was only 14 birdies. So 14 birdies from 95 yards.
Pretty cool.
Very cool.
To your point. Yep. That was a good pin as well. Set up from the AI bots. All right. I think that does it for our Truist recap. Pretty good championship.
A long recap for
the
Truist.
What are we doing? Well, you're talking about Shador. You're bouncing all over the place.
We don't have PJ to keep us in check. That's what's going on. PJ's got boat problems.
He takes too many ferries. I know in New York, there's just different planes, trains, and automobiles you got to get around, but he's always rushing to a ferry or missing a ferry or waiting for a ferry. He's always rushing to a boat.
You're trying to get out of a dinner tonight.
I'm trying to get out of it. Mother's, yeah, maybe. I opened my mouth at a baseball game on Saturday. I can never. Women I don't barely know. We're talking about Mother's Day weekend, and they're in their folding chairs. And I'm already skeptical of folding chairs, as you know. I said Mother's Day weekend. Is it a day or is it a weekend? This is now a thing, I guess. It's like Saturday's off the book, Saturday night. No, if you can have youth sports, we had baseball, lacrosse, and soccer today. We don't have that on Christmas. We don't have that but now we got Mother's Day weekend, and it did not go over well. People barely know we're not happy with me.
I was talking
Larry David moment.
I was talking U.S. Open plans with my wife, And I was like, well, maybe I'll come home Sunday morning. And she's like, why would you come home? I'm like, I don't know. It's Father's Day. It's like Father's Day doesn't even exist because I'm never present. I'm never there.
I always at the U.S. Open. I know.
So it's like it doesn't even exist in our household.
Let alone a weekend.
Yeah, let alone a weekend. You know what? The best way to support two people that don't get Father's Day is Fried Egg Golf Club. New name, still a hot club.
Little logo change, new name.
New website.
Stuff is hot, really hot.
People like the new website.
They do. And there's going to be continued enhancements, a lot directed at the club. So we're bringing in new lighting, new liquor offerings in the club, maybe
features.
A new DJ booth. Yeah, the club's only going to get hotter. All are welcome at the club, even though it's hot. But we're going to get continued enhancement of the new website. It's day one. But the club will be a big focus as we continue to enhance the website. It looks great now.
The new website was really to increase the capacity of the club, so more people could get in, more people could feel comfortable in there.
Another ante-room. They could have a different kind of DJ set. There's all sorts of stuff. Different tastes, different music. Join Fried Egg Golf Club. It's $120 a year. You get weekly course profiles, hangouts, access to events. Events are hot. You get a 24-hour head start on a lot of people to our events. You get free concierge service to plan international trips. You can go on these trips we got one to the Scottish Highlands. Demand is hefty. We'll have another one to where? Ireland, right? Next year, a club trip. So join Fried Egg Golf Club. Tons of content, a lot of benefits. There's a locker now. There's all sorts of stuff, right? The concierge.
What are you keeping in your locker?
I mean, whatever. Whatever's there when you click. It's the different promo codes that I can never remember for this podcast.
I hope we get to a point. I hope we get to a point with the locker. The locker that where you could have like a metaverse version of yourself, and then you could dress them. So it could be like Metaverse Jack.
What happened to meta mates and living in the metaverse?
Yeah, what happened to all that?
I don't know. Zuckerberg's doing interviews where whatever. I'm not going to get into that. We're already off topic. Fried Egg Golf Club. Join it. $120.
If I had to ask you, if one thing was erased from your memory, which one would you rather have erased? If you could have Gold Boy erased or Digital Jack, which one would you be more sad about having it erased from your memory?
I don't know. This is an insane question. I mean, I'd hate to lose Gold Boy, right?
I think Digital Jack might have been worse.
Well, the visuals of Digital Jack with this like sort of slouched over digital image or body.
What about when they did the interview?
Yeah.
What about the interview between Jack and Digital Jack? I would say maybe the greatest piece of content ever made.
He's sitting at a table talking to I mean, outside of Bill Belichick, that's one of the worst advice to an old man. Like the misguided, just elder abuse. Making Jack sit in there and talk to a freaking digital rendering of himself. Hey, Jack. What? All right. I'm glad we talked about Truist for that long because I don't have anything to say about Myrtle Beach Classic. Didn't watch a second of it. Happy for Ryan Fox, nonetheless. I got text from friends down there that it's a big, big local support. Like, it's great. Awesome turnout. People get really into it. Super cool. So I'm happy for Myrtle Beach Classic. I'm glad they're doing well down there. But Fox gets the win there in a playoff. On the DP World, what?
Would you rather have the Myrtle Beach Classic or the RSM?
The Myrtle Beach Classic, I think.
I think so too.
Guys need their points. I mean, I think you're going to see these stars just like the fall does not exist for these guys. Not that there's a bunch of stars at Myrtle, but there's guys that got to get starts. Hopefully a mix of young players too. On the DP World Tour, an individual by the name of Martin Kuvra wins the Turkish Airlines Open. Are you familiar with Martin Kuvra?
I just opened up EuropeanTour.com. Love the picture they got featured of him winning from a bad angle.
That's terrible. That's not flattering.
He won the tournament, but lost the photo contest.
That's not good.
I mean, they had to have gotten a better picture than that.
Martin Kuvra wins the Turkish Airlines Open. A lot of response to Chris Wood and an emotional interview he did. He's obviously struggled with anxiety. Won Wentworth, been on a Ryder Cup. He had a 64 today, finished 7th, and got pretty emotional about it. But Chris Wood, I mean, that guy was like a stick, a decade ago. Just
tall guy,
awesome player, but has struggled really since. He said he's been going through hell essentially since 2019. So that was sort of a good thing to see. A cool interview with him after the Turkish Airlines Open. On the LPGA, Gino Titicul wins the Mizuho out at Liberty National, or Libnat. That's her 5th win already. She's 22. I know she's not number 1 in the world by pure metrics, but she might be better at the moment than Nelly Korda. Had a great season again.
Phenom.
Hadn't punched through with the win, but she's 22 until now. But she's 22 and has 5 dubs. Next thing's a major for sure. She's not had a ton of opportunities. Had a bunch of top 10s, top 5s even at majors. Think she's the favorite going to Erin Hills, the U.S. Women's Open. Probably.
Seems like not if, but when.
Yes. 22. I know that's not necessarily super young for women's golf, but she's already got 5 W's on the board.
I mean, this is just something to keep in mind with women's golf, right? It's like everybody went nuts about Rose Zhang, and Rose has a lot of career left. But like at the same time, everybody was going nuts about Rose. Gino was the same age and like already had done it on the LPGA tour for a couple of years, Yep.
She's now got another one.
She's a stud.
News. Evan Priest had a bit about nothing is set in stone, and there are rumors. So I wouldn't say this was a locked up bit that Rory might play the Australian Open at Royal Melbourne. They don't have a date. They don't have a time. They don't it seems like it's just a name, a place, and a possibility. But there weren't a lot of hard details other than that. But that was Evan Priest on the weekend that Royal Melbourne which I don't even think they have a date for the Open yet. The actual tournament. It's always in the whatever late fall, winter here. But that there's talks. It's just rumors, allegedly. Other news: Chicago and Texas Golf Club have filed trademark filings with the TGL. Chicago Golf Club and Texas Golf Club, I believe.
They want to reignite that Chicago-Detroit rivalry.
I'm sorry. It's not Chicago Golf Club. It's Chicago Lynx. Chicago Lynx Golf Club. We know the great Lynxland out in the Chicago area.
I got to say, I'm pretty worried. I'm pretty nervous about Chicago. I don't know. I'm a Frog fan through and through. They can't be just jumping all these expansion teams on people. I've already become a fan. What do I do? What am I supposed to do?
Is there room for multiple links? I think Jupiter Links already owns that. Do they want to bring Chicago Link? I don't know if there's enough room at TGL.
Which area has more links courses?
So yeah, those are out there. In addition to the Motor City Golf Club.
They should call it Chicago Fire or something.
Isn't that the soccer team?
Soccer and the TV show.
Right. I don't have anything else for this Monday edition. We are going to be coming at you hot and heavy all week for the PGA Championship. Go ahead.
If you had billions of dollars, how much would you pay for a TGL franchise?
Billions of dollars?
Yeah, if you're the Ford family.
It's this toy that they're all like, it's a thing.
If millions of dollars was like, the thousands of dollars to a normal person.
How much would I pay?
Yeah.
I don't think I'd get involved, if I'm being honest.
I'm trying to get a number of what you think.
If money was like close to no object, but still an object, I guess I would pay $25-30 million for one. Like you're buying a big, nice, great big house, a third home that's on a prime piece of real estate wherever, maybe that.
Okay.
But that's not a world that I can comprehend. What about you?
I don't know. I asked the question because I don't know what I would spend on it. I think like the thing I would say is like I wouldn't spend the numbers that are being batted around unless that entailed that I got like the superstar of my pick to lead my team,
Yeah.
And then I look at like the OWGR and I'm kind of like, wait, who's going to be the star of this franchise that I spent $70 million on,
I mean, these people spend hundreds of millions of dollars on yachts, right?
That's true.
That have like immediately they go in the water and they're like worth whatever, half the whatever, right? Don't quote me on that.
I met a yacht. You met a yacht attorney recently. Talk about a random job.
That was cool. I met someone like a week later who did the same thing.
You met 2 yacht attorneys.
Yes. Yeah, at Disney. That's where it was. I was like, oh, I just met a yacht attorney and they were talking to me about how they do that. And I was like, yep, that's how it goes.
Sometimes they have to go sign deals in international waters.
Yes. Out doing some, it's like, yeah. This guy was talking about how some of these laws are like from the Admiralty of 1600 and it's like never changed. All this crazy stuff. Yeah, like Jerry Jones's yacht is $225 million. Maybe a TGL franchise is a better investment. I don't know. Hey, you want a good unsubstantiated rumor to sign us off on the subject?
Love one at minute. Great unsubstantiated rumor at minute 60.
Well, it's signing us off. We're going to PGA week. We'll be on every night. Straka, on occasion of Straka's win, you see his agent left Wasserman and took Straka, Ludwig, Kisner, and somebody else. Harmon, maybe. This was like publicly reported on by Shupak and I think Sports Business Journal. There were others. This big thing. Apparently, it's as you would imagine with agents and guys with legal backgrounds and money. It's very tense. Apparently, like some of the old agency, one of them is in trouble for Bud. I believe our friend from Bud got in trouble.
Our guy.
The guy who's just staring at us as we interviewed Cam Smith. Apparently got in trouble for going up to Kisner and like MFing him at the Players while he's like about to do Smiley's happy hour. So like there was some sort of
what a way to roll into happy hour.
Big public scene in front of like obviously 17th hole. Apparently it was like MFing and this, that, and the other. But yeah, Sepp Straka, your winner. I don't know who his agent is, but it's not maybe not the same place. So unsubstantiated, purely unsubstantiated rumors. So all right, that does it. We will talk to you on Tuesday with the PGA Championship preview. We're going to have dailies after play from Charlotte, our usual major championship lineup. Looking forward to a great week. Thank you for your continued support of the Shotgun Start.